Shabbat Shalom, family, and happy holy days. Our selection today, I Know My Redeemer Lives.
To bring me The oracles of the UCI. 1 Peter chapter 4, verses 7 through 11. But the end of all things is at hand. Be you therefore sober, and watch unto prayer. And above all things have fervent love among yourselves, for love shall cover the multitude of sins. Use hospitality one to another without grudging. As every man has received the gift, even so minister the same one to another, as good stewards of the manifold grace of Elohim. If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of Elohim. If any man minister, let him do it as of the ability which Elohim gives, that Elohim in all things may be glorified through Yahshua the Mashiach, to whom be praise and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 29 through chapter 5 and verse 4. Let no corrupt communication proceed out of your mouth, but that which is good to the use of edifying, that it may minister grace unto the hearers. And grieve not the Holy Spirit of Elohim, whereby you are sealed until the day of redemption. Let all bitterness and wrath and anger and clamor and evil speaking be put away from you with all malice. And be you kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Elohim for Yahshua's sake has forgiven you. Be you therefore followers of Elohim, as their children, and walk in love, as the Mashiach also have loved us, and has given himself for us an offering and sacrifice to Elohim for a sweet-smelling savor. But fornication, and all uncleanness, or covetousness, let it not be once named among you as becomes saints. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather given of thanks. Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verses 1 and 2. Keep your foot when you go to the house of Elohim, and be more ready to hear than to give the sacrifice of fools, for they consider not that they do evil. Be not rash with your mouth, and let not your heart be hasty to utter anything before Elohim. For Elohim is in heaven, and you upon earth, therefore let your words be few. Exodus chapter 23, verses 20 and 21. Behold, I send an angel before you to keep you in the way, and to bring you into the place which I have prepared. Beware of him, and obey his voice. Provoke him not, for he will not pardon your transgressions, for my name is in him. Revelations chapter 3, verses 20 through 22. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him, and will sup with him, and he with me. To him that overcomes will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I have also overcame, and am sat down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says unto the churches.
All right, Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Which is peace on Yahweh's holy Sabbath day. Welcome to another holy convocation that Yahweh has enjoined unto us. As we deal with all of the statutes that are written concerning unleavened bread, we have to deal with that there's a spiritual aspect that that is there and that was there from the beginning. The issue is man had a hard time dealing with all of those spiritual aspects of these things. So Yahweh uses this situation of bread, but he's really dealing with the hearts of men. When he's talking about having a circumcised heart, you can't physically circumcise a heart. So then that is about a spiritual situation that you have to accept from within. So when we deal with this situation of becoming leaven, it is a process whereby we are attempting to bow down to Yahweh, if you will. It is a way in which we are attempting to allow his will to take over our lives. And the opposite of that would be, of course, to be puffed up, to cause something to rise. When you deal with something, and even when they talk about war situations, it is stated, and this one rose up against this one. When we talk about the slaying, we say of dealing with Cain and Abel, and he rose up against his brother. You keep finding the same situation when it's talking about even an adversarial situation. They rose up against one. And we know, you can look at somebody when they get upset. They talk with the chest. It's extra air get in there. They don't even talk the same. What you talking about, brother? Who you talking to? Who you talking? All of a sudden, brother done got taller and everything. You know what I'm saying? Now, is he on a step stool? What just happened? He puffed. He puffed up. It was an air pump somewhere, and he done got some air in it. We do the same thing to Yahweh. And he can even tell by our talk that some air done got in there somewhere. For a brother to have done wrong and then reply to Yahweh, am I my brother's keeper? I know not. Oh, not only was he in sin, he was puffed up. So much, in fact, that he felt justified in his speaking tone against his creator. And that's what being puffed up does. It allows you to go to a place in your mind where you feel justified in your actions. And that's all about where your mind is, And if you back up a couple of years, you'll understand that there was some things that you felt justified about that at this point in your life you shouldn't feel justified about. If not, then we have some serious spiritual growth issues. The club dude feels justified about that fight when somebody stepped on his Air Force Ones. He felt completely justified. Now, when you get 40 and you still fighting over Air Force Ones, there's something seriously wrong with your spiritual development. All right? It was already something wrong with your spiritual development then. But I can definitely tell you that you are spiritually deficient if you are a 40-year-old dude fighting in the club because somebody stepped on your Air Forces. There's something seriously wrong with you. There has not been growth. There's a certain amount of things that growth is supposed to bring. And no, we're not all going to grow at the same time. But there's little boy stuff and there's grown man stuff. There's little girl stuff and there's grown woman stuff. And at some point, there has to be some spiritual growth. The things that Yahweh will allow you to do and not be punished. He allows certain things when you first come in the word. After you have proclaimed yourself to be a man or a woman in this word, he ain't letting you get away with that no more. My unpotty trained child get to pee on the floor. They're not getting no whipping. My 12-year-old, I'm going to beat the skin off of them that pee on my floor. You understand what I'm saying to you? Because there's an expectation that comes along with your growth. Yahweh is not dealing any different. He is the Father of all fathers. There's a reason why we call him Father. A father helps direct things. The Father don't sit around and do everything for you. The Father is not going to carry you up. The Father knows, with love of the Father knows, hey, you got to learn how to walk on your own. I may love you, but I can't carry you everywhere. Because, sooner or later, you can't carry no 12-year-old. Sooner or later, these folks going to have to walk on their own. And the longer you hold back that process, the more handicapped they're going to be. So there are certain things that I see in the congregation that I had to bite my tongue. I was like, no, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna wait and see how many brothers in here say something. I'm not saying nothing. I know I see but I ain't the only person in here with eyes. Why they waiting on me to say something? So then we have to really examine ourselves and see if we are in a position of being puffed up against our Creator. Let's begin today's sermon in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. 1 Corinthians chapter 13, and we're going to read verses 1 through 13.
Verse 1. Though I speak with languages of men and of angels and have not love, I become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal.
In other words, I'm just making noise. If you're just sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal, you're just making noise because it's missing an element. Go ahead.
And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I could remove mountains and have not love, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burnt and have not love, it profit me nothing.
It profits me nothing because it's not going to be accounted unto you the right way. Go ahead.
Love suffers long and is kind. Love envies not. Love vaunteth not itself. It is not puffed up. Does not behave itself unseemly. Seeks not her own. Is not easily provoked. Thinks no evil.
Right. But one thing you learn about the situation of dealing with love is everybody has their own definition of what love is. So this is why we have a common culture that we're supposed to be dealing with. Because depending on what somebody has witnessed and what their upbringing is, they perceive love in a different way. And sometimes what we have to do is pay attention to how that individual perceives love and see if that is the same perception that you have of it. Then we got to examine Yahweh's perception. And it may be that both of y'all have to change your perception so that you can meet his. Go ahead.
Rejoices not in lawlessness, but rejoices in the truth.
Rejoices not in lawlessness. Now, how do we rejoice in iniquity? How do we rejoice in lawlessness? We see something, we know it ain't right, and we chuckle at it. Look, boy, you done went in there and stole all this stuff. Why is that funny? And then you hung out with the dude after he did it. You're rejoicing in lawlessness. You just hung out with. This word says one thing. You watch somebody who you cool with do despite what's written. Then they're able to come after they did it and sit right down next to you. Oh, that's my man. Right. You just rejoiced in lawlessness. You rejoiced in it because you let them sit right by you after they did it. When it should have been a conversation. Nah, man. Nah, that ain't cool. Nah, you don't get to do that, man, and then come see. Now people think that I'm about that. What you just did. Now they think I'm about that. Because you just did that and came right down here and sat down with me. No, don't come over here. If it says that we're supposed to stay away from even the appearance of sin, what do you think you just did? After they did all of that, and then they were able to come and sit there with you, and you slapping hands with them and hugging them. You just rejoiced in lawlessness. You didn't do it, but you rejoiced in it because you knew they did it. Go ahead.
Verse 7, bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endureth all things. Love never fails, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be languages, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part, and we prophesy in part. But when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I spake as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things.
Right. These are the things that Yahweh expects of us. You claim to be a man or a woman in the word, that's what he expects from you. See, we have to deal with that thing that we have natural elders and you got spiritual elders. Yeah, we may be natural elders because we we 50 and over. But how long have we walked in this word? Then you got to understand something. He's going to hold you accountable to that title that you stand to. What? What he said, Nicodemus? You call yourself a master in Israel and you don't know these things? Go ahead.
For now we see through a glass, darkly. But then, face to face, now I know in part. but then shall I know even as also I am known. And now abides faith, hope, love, these three. But the greatest of these is love.
One thing my teacher used to say is, every time you think you understand that love thing, it grows into something else. And it's amazing that the little that we understand about it, that we kind of just stay where we are. And the more you get into this book and you see the love that Yahweh has for Israel, if it was by our standards of love, we wouldn't love like that. All the things that Israel has done against Yahweh, with everything that Yahweh has given Israel, oh, we'd have been left that relationship. I done gave you money, you did what? You bought what for who? Let you give your woman a credit card and find out she done bought an outfit for James, her ex-boyfriend. You did what? The hell you did. Right. We get to looking in this book, we shouldn't have no relationship with Yahweh. Because, boy, we done some stuff in here. But that love thing is, you can't put it in a bowl. You can't put it in your little pre-made package. It grows, it moves, it changes shape, fashion, and form. I want you to read this, the definition here, because we had two words that came up. It says, love vaunteth not itself. I want you to read vaunteth.
Perperium, braggart, perhaps by a reduplication of the base of G4008, to boast, vaunt itself.
To boast. So love doesn't boast itself. There's a lot of times where we may not be believing that we're boasting. But sometimes you have to even meditate on that. Go ahead. Let's go to the next one. Because the next one, it says, it vaunteth not itself, and it is not puffed up. Let's read the definition of puffed.
Facile, from G5449, in the primary sense of blowing, to inflate, that is, figuratively, make proud, haughty, puffed up.
Right. So when we have that puffed up thing, not only are we not going to deal with the things that Yahweh is instructing us to deal with, but we got an attitude in not doing it. We feel like we right in not doing it. Let's go to our 1 Corinthians chapter 5. We read this the other night. I want to bring out a few things in here.
It is reported commonly that there's fornication among you, and such fornication as is not so much as named among the Gentiles, that one should have his father's wife.
Right. Now, if the brother says something about that, now is he judging the person? Because this is the first thing that's going to come at you. That why you judging me? But as it is written, you shall rebuke your brother and not suffer sin to be upon him. So the very ones we claim to love, those are the ones that we don't say nothing to. Well, guess what you did by not saying anything to them? You suffered the sin to stay upon them. So if you loved them, now you have caused them to enter into damnation because you ain't mentioned it. So what kind of love do you have? You love them so much you want them to go to the lake of fire? Or you love the calmness of y'all relationship and it might get rocky if you mention something that they did wrong. So who you loving in that situation? You loving them or you loving you? Read, bro.
And you are puffed up, and have not rather mourned, that he that has done this deed might be taken away from among you.
So you know what has happened, but you don't want the person to be removed. So then you are puffed up because you want to maintain your friendship. But who you puffed up against is Yahweh. But Yahweh is not going to get the puffed up reaction. It's who's ever orchestrating that situation is going to get the puffed up behavior that one really has against Yahweh. But do understand, Yahweh is accounting it unto him. You may see that individual in front of you. That may be who you may be arguing with. That's not how it's going to be accounted. That's why he says, when you did it to the least of these, you did it to me. See, none of us believe that if we saw Yahshua, that, we would, argue back at him. Who you talking to? I mean, I knew you Lamb of God and everything, but I mean, you don't come talk to me like that. Ain't none of us gonna say that that's what we gonna do. So you think he gonna come to you and tell you, oh, by the way, before we talk, I just want to let you know I'm the Lamb of God. By the way, all right, so now there was a situation. I ain't gonna tell you that. You ain't gonna know who he is. And you gonna jump right out of that bag, only to find out he gonna put you right back in that bag. Go ahead.
For I verily, as absent in body, but present in spirit, have judged already, as though I were present, concerning him that has so done this deed.
Check that. That means he trusts the report that comes from these people. I'm not there. But I tell you what, it is as though I was present, because I know y'all know better than this. If this person has done this, why he still there? Why he still there? That's why sometimes I say, no. I ain't saying nothing. I'm going to see who else going to say something. Go ahead.
In the name of our Adonai Yahshua the Mashiach, when you're gathered together, and my spirit with the power of our Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, to deliver such a one unto Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved in the day of the Adonai Yahshua.
So when you deliver them unto Satan, that means you cast them out from among you. That means they no longer have the covering of the spirit. Now Satan get to wrestle with them for a little while. Maybe they will change their ways. But if they can hide behind your spirit, they ain't never getting judged for what's happening. How exactly are you helping them again? And we like to agree with especially if it's family members. See, we'll say something wicked until our daddy do it. Well, it was wicked when the people down the street did it, but when my daddy did it, it was not as wicked. Oh, really? So the words in this book changed when your daddy did it? Go ahead.
Your glorying is not good. Know you not that a little leaven leavens the whole lump?
Check that out. When you decide that you're not going to do what you need to do to remove that leaven, because that leaven your friend, that leaven is your ace boon coon, your soda cracker, your chewing tobacco, he don't get no blacker. So that's that for you. Now you don't want to remove the sin. Guess what? You the one that's glorying. You notice he's not talking to the individual, right? He's not talking to the person who did the wrong. I need you to pay attention to that. That's not who he's talking to. You have not removed this individual. Your glorying is not good. He's not talking about the leaven. He's talking about the people who have not removed the leaven. That's who he's talking to. Go ahead.
Purge out therefore the old leaven.
That's your job. Purge out the old leaven. The leaven ain't going to purge out itself. That's your job. You ever seen some biscuits jump out the counter? I'm unclean. You ever seen that? Go ahead, bro.
That you may be a new lump, as you are unleavened. For even the Mashiach, our Passover, is sacrificed for us. Therefore, let us keep the feast, not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. I wrote unto you in a letter not to company with fornicators.
I wrote unto you in a letter. You know these people off on some different stuff. Why are you hanging out with them? How it gets difficult for us, because this is how we operated before we got in the Word. Not only did we accompany with fornicators, we actually called them, the more they fornicated, the cooler they were. We got together and had fornication stories. Let's keep it 1,000 in. Then you get in the Word, and the Word says something altogether different. Now, which one you gonna deal with? So is it that we don't say nothing about their leaven because we got a little leaven of our own we don't want to get rid of? So if I don't say nothing about his leaven, then maybe he won't say nothing about my leaven. You know what I'm saying? We just won't have leaven, little leaven secrets. All right? You know what I'm talking about? Okay. Yeah, she was gonna say something though. Go ahead.
You know, when you look at the whole situation, like you say, he's not talking to the person who's doing the wrong. In verse 7, he says, therefore purge out the old leaven. But then he says, you are unleavened.
Right.
So you in good standings. But you need to get this person out of here. And then turn around and say, why are you going to bring that into the feast?
Right.
Now we can't enjoy ourselves because you haven't done your job and let this individual come in here.
It says one drop of leaven leavens the whole lump, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that one bit of leaven has now made you leaven. Otherwise, you was good. But you let it become that situation. And this is far deeper than the ingredients. Like my brother was saying last night. This is not about the ingredients on the box. You think Yahweh gonna come and throw us in the lake of fire because, I didn't know sodium bicarbonate was in this, Yahweh. Go to hell. Thou who eateth sodium bicarbonate. Come on, bruh. It's not what Yahweh doing. No. You need to look for the sodium bicarbonate that's up in here. All of these things are in representation of spiritual things that we're supposed to be dealing with. The stuff that happened in your kitchen is just an exercise. This is where the real work is. Go ahead, brother.
Verse 10, yet not altogether with the fornicators of this world, or with the covetous, or extortioners, or with idolaters, for then must you needs go out of the world.
But do understand, you play the game like you practice. Those who go to practice and don't do nothing but sit by the Gatorade cooler, when the game comes, that's exactly where they're going to be, right by the Gatorade. This dude ain't went down the court now time. Why in the hell are you drinking all the Gatorade? Then the game comes, that's where he at. Bruh, for real? Now the people on the field, they ain't got no Gatorade to drink. Because Captain Sideline done drunk all the damn juice. You need to examine yourself. Least you find, damn, I'm Captain Sideline. You don't want to be Captain Sideline, bro. Make sure you are not Captain Sideline. If you look around and you don't find Captain Sideline, that means you him. Go ahead, bro.
But now I have written unto you not to keep company, if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner.
And look, then you have to look at it. These are all things that we called cool before. These are all things that we call cool. It says, know not to keep company. Them the ones we invite. Like, you know what, I'm going to have a shindig. Let me see. I'm going to invite James. He's a fornicator. I'm going to invite Keith. He covetous. He always after somebody's stuff. I got a friend that's an idolater, a railer. Oh, yeah. I got about 4 drunkards. I'm gonna get rid of that. An extortioner. This is the who's who on our invitation list. We don't want to invite nobody righteous because they're gonna make the party go down. Go ahead.
With such an one know not to eat.
Mm-hmm.
For what have I to do to judge them also that are without?
This is why I get in situations and I said, no, I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm finna wait to see what other people do. He says, for what have I to do to judge them? Go ahead. No, go through that whole thing.
Do not you judge them that are within?
So what have I to do to judge them that are without? Do not you judge them that are within? So judgment from within is your job. Outside that door is his job. He said, no. When they come in this house, that's your job. So why you ain't doing your job? Go ahead.
But them that are without Elohim judges.
Them that are without Elohim judge. That's his job. So don't worry about them. I got that. You got the small job. You deal with what's inside the house. I deal with what's out. Go ahead.
Therefore put away from among yourselves that wicked person.
So if you do not, then you have allowed that leaven to stay in that place, which now begins to leaven the rest of the lump. Let's go to chapter 8. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, and we're going to read verses 1 through 13.
Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffs up.
Look at that. Knowledge, but there's some folk you can't even finish telling them something before you even finish. I already know what you're talking about. They already done bent the corner. All you see at the back of their head. Yeah, I know all that. I know it. Right. Knowledge puffs up. And if you back up a year or two, we wouldn't dare have done that when we was going worshiping Satan on Sunday morning. Ain't nobody said nothing to Pastor Goodfeelings. Nobody said anything to him. He lied, sung, and danced, did everything. You ain't said a word. We get about 4 months worth of knowledge in this book, and we so puffed up you can't even fit us in the door. Turn me sideways and then push me in. Gee, you can't walk straight in? No, I'm too puffed up. Yeah, I've been doing some spiritual workouts, you know. Oh, okay. You got your spiritual swole on. Okay. Go ahead.
But love edifies. And if any man think that he knows anything, he knows nothing yet as he ought to know.
If any man thinks that he knows something, your biggest humbling point is you have to search or begin each day hoping that Yahweh reveals a little bit more of his truth unto me. But if you get up, I pretty much got it all. I'm straight. I can tell you're on your way to destruction. Kids should tell you, we done had some folk that tell us that, I pretty much got it all. I just didn't have the Yeshua thing, but I pretty much had everything else before. We almost hurt ourselves laughing. It was so funny. Oh my God, it was just like, this dude here is crazy. This was amazing. And he said this with a straight face. Like he really believed it, Go ahead, bro.
Doing Kung Fu, they start out and they say, okay, you start at the black sash, right? And he's going through it and he said, okay, and you go all the way to these levels to get back to black. And he's like, do you know why? I said, no. He's like, you start out knowing nothing. You go through all this to reach to this level and still realize you know nothing.
Right. So that you will stay in a place of constant growth. If you believe that you already there, you have ceased from moving. That's why it's more difficult for older people to be in this word. Cause they like, look, I'm what they call over the hill. See, over the hill mean I done climbed all I'm gonna climb. I'm coasting now, baby. I ain't making no changes. You talking about changing? No, ain't no changing. Just coast right down. That's all they want to do. So you don't find a whole lot of people that begin this. When you see some people that start in this word and they 50, 60, hey, that's a commendable situation. Because that means they have gotten accustomed to things. See, we creatures of habit. So once we get accustomed to something, that's the way we operate. So you talking about somebody that's 60 years old getting in this word. Now they've become a 60-year-old toddler trying to learn what thus says Yahweh. Now what's going on is all them habits that keep fighting everything that Yahweh tells you to do. You start getting in the word and it says, oh, we're supposed to do it this way. But then them habits kick in. And it starts puffing up against what we know is there. And that's a fight we have to fight. And it's better if we fight that fight when we have, our spiritual strength, our physical strength. But it is a real, commendable thing for somebody to go through this. Because, there's some people, you talk to them at a certain age about this word, they're not hearing that.
No, my church is a family. I know they don't do stuff right, but all families got people that ain't right. So we just look the other way.
Right. Okay. I've had conversations with people that said they know what I'm saying in this book is true. But they're not trying to go through all those changes. Well, I tell you what, when fire hit flesh, it changes. It changes. That's all I can tell you. You know what I'm saying? That's one to grow on right there. Go ahead, brother.
But if any man love Elohim, the same is known of him. As concerning therefore the eating of those things that are offered in sacrifice unto idols, we know that an idol is nothing in the world.
We know that an idol is nothing because we now have a certain amount of knowledge. We know that that's a make-believe God. We know that. Now, how you going to deal with that now that you know it, though? Go ahead.
And that there's none other Elohim but one. For though there be that are called gods, whether in heaven or in earth, as there be gods many, and masters many, but to us there is but one Elohim, the Father, of whom are all things, and we in him, and one Adonai Yahshua HaMashiach, by whom are all things, and we by him. Howbeit there is not in every man that knowledge.
Okay.
For some with conscience of the idol unto this hour eat it as a thing offered unto an idol, and their conscience being weak is defiled. But meat commendeth us not to Elohim, for neither if we eat are we the better, neither if we eat not are we the worse.
Right. You have certain times, you look at that and you say, well, what is he talking about? Okay, did Elohim create any animal for the worship or sacrifice of any kind of pagan god? There's no animal that was created for that purpose. Man decided which things they were going to use to glorify their gods. So now you got some people, if you pull out turkey around Thanksgiving, they go, oh, no, hell, I'm not eating that. Absolutely not. You know what I'm saying? They're going to think I'm celebrating Thanksgiving. Now, did Yahweh make a Thanksgiving turkey? Was there one born? Was he on a Thanksgiving farm? Did Yahweh make that? No, this is something that man has done. Man has made that an idol. So you have some people that just, I can't be seen buying the turkey. So they buying the turkey like it's drugs. Bring the turkey around the back. You know what I'm saying? The money on the ground, brother. Money on the ground. Don't touch me. Don't touch me now. Don't look me in my eyes now. Just put the turkey down and walk back to your car. Now the turkey done became contraband. Brother putting it under the passenger seat so he get caught. Your Honor, that wasn't my turkey. It was over there on the other seat. What? We hiding it like we do weapons? Go ahead, bro.
But take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to him.
Now is where it's getting interesting. Now your liberty could become a stumbling block for somebody else that doesn't have the same level of understanding. Because now they see that situation and now they run amok with it. So sometimes, we get questions where people say, if I do this and we supposed to stay, stay away from the appearance of sin. You know, will it be sin unto me if I do it? I break it down real easy. Is it leaven? And who in the hell in your living room when you ate it? Did you decide to go on the rooftop and eat it? But then now you got something to deal with. But who in the hell in your living room? Did you live stream your living room meal? Who know that other than the people in your living room? Being without clothing is an unclean situation. But not in your house. That's your house. You think I go take a shower and take all my clothes off and put my kufi on? Because I need to be covered. That's about a fool right there. You know what I'm talking about? That's about a fool right there. Something wrong with that dude. Just in case the angel show up. Oh, okay. Right. Read, man.
For if any man see you, which has knowledge, sit at meat in the idol's temple, shall not the conscience of him which is weak be emboldened to eat those things which are offered to idols?
Uh-huh. Because you know that the idol doesn't exist. But then when you turn around and do those things in front of other people, this is the whole thing. In front of other people. That's the key. The key is not all the other stuff. The key is what you do in front of people who have or might have a weak conscience. And people don't admit to you what they're weak about. That was what my brother was making the point the other night. See, I knew a brother who didn't tell me that he had some fornication issues, and we went to pass out some flyers back when my elder was alive. Went to a club. I'm looking, and this brother sweating like TD Jakes. We couldn't figure out what is wrong with me, and I was like, "What the hell is wrong with this brother?" He looked at every woman that went by. Oh, whoa! I was like, before we know it, he like, I'm just gonna go sit in the car. I was like, yeah, you go sit in the car and take that towel with you. What the hell is wrong with him? Then we found out he has a fornication problem. Had we known that, we would have never brought him with us. But people don't tell you right away what they got issues with. I realized that when he's shaking and sweating at every woman that walked by. I said, oh, you got a real problem with this. Man, you got to let some people know that you have an issue with something, and then, we'll help work around that issue. But you can't just sit there and try to pretend like, yeah, it's all good. And then you go out there and we got to cut the trip short because you're walking around smelling everything. That ain't gonna work. Go ahead.
My question is, did he not know where y'all was going?
He knew exactly where we were going.
Did he not volunteer himself?
Yes, he volunteered himself. See?
Yeah, I can do it. If y'all can do it, I can do it. Punchinella. I can do it.
Then he got out there and we damn near had to carry him out. Right? It does this to you just looking at this? But you don't know when you're going to wound somebody's weak conscience. So sometimes you might have to ask some questions before everything ain't to be done in front of everybody. There's certain conversations that you might have to pause if a younger, weaker brother come in the room. And I say younger, that may not be the younger brother, that's the weaker one. You might have to pause that because that conversation might cause them some harm. Because they not ready to deal with that. You are now speaking in the area of their weakness. Go ahead.
And through your knowledge shall the weak brother perish, for whom the Mashiach died.
Right. So now this brother perish because of your knowledge. Because your knowledge made you so puffed up that you did this thing in front of him. Now he turns around and duplicates it so much to the point that he ends up losing his salvation. Go ahead.
But when you sin so against the brethren and wound their weak conscience, you sin against the Mashiach.
Check that out. Now, hold on. You didn't do the thing. But you did the thing in front of that brother. Now the brother with the weak conscience is now wounded. Now Yahweh accounts that unto you. Go ahead.
Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I'll eat no flesh while the world stands. Lest I make my brother to offend.
Pay attention. Wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend. See, this is me attempting to remove the leaven out of me. So that means I'm going to suffer for this small period of time. It says, wherefore, if meat make my brother to offend, I will eat no flesh while the world watches. Not I ain't going to eat no flesh ever. I'm just not going to eat no flesh while he is here, because he has a problem with that. You know somebody alcoholic, you don't go pulling out liquor.
I bet you had some of this. It's some of that Louis. I bet you ain't never had none of that King Louis. Yeah, this $500 a glass right here. I bet you won't taste it, don't you? It's so smooth. So smooth.
Why would you do that? Now you in the process of wounding their conscience. Did you finish that, brother?
You know, with verse 13, a lot of times I hear it, and this is not said the proper way. Most times you hear, if meat offends my brother, then I won't eat. No, it says, if it makes him to offend. I've always heard people say, well, if meat offends my brother, no. It's causing him to make offenses. Not that you eating it and it's offending him. So let's go ahead and get that clear and put it in the right context.
And you know, you have to deal with something. You know, why would it be? It might be a situation where the brother is fasting. Then you turn around and you eat right in front of them. Yeah, that's going to make them offend, because they are now going against the covenant that they made with their Elohim. What you think the adversary, the devil, was doing when Yahshua had fasted 40 days and 40 nights?
Look at that. Is that a stone? No, it ain't. It's hot bread. Check that out. You smell that, Yeshua? You smell that?
Hey, we know we're going to a good restaurant. We full by the time they bring the meal, because we done ate all the damn bread. They bring that bread out there with the olive oil. You know what I'm saying? With the butter. Boy, stop. By the time they bring your meal,
You be like, oh my God. Can y'all just bring out some to-go plates? Oh, between this bread and this wine, I done had unholy communion. I'm telling you, thank you. I'm fine. I'm full now. Just put myself in a box.
Yeah. Go ahead, bro. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 47.
It says, chapter 47 and verse 1. Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you shall no more be called tender and delicate.
And we are living through the beginning of these things being made to pass. It used to be a time that a country wouldn't part its lips against the daughter of Babylon. Now, every other day, somebody is saying something foul about the daughter of Babylon where we reside. See, when you talk about daughter of Babylon, this is a kingdom that was born out of another kingdom. This was Europe's project. This is the daughter of Babylon. You got Babylon, and then you got the daughter of Babylon. People wouldn't open their mouth to say nothing against big old bad USA. Every other day, another country, and it built little old bitty country. I mean, they ain't got, the 2 huts and a dog, and they like, yeah, what they said. Oh, something happening with your power, because they wouldn't dare open their lips against big bad USA. Oh, they talking now. Go ahead.
Take the millstones and grind meal. Uncover your locks. Make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers. Your nakedness shall be uncovered. Yes, your shame shall be seen.
Right. And my elder used to always say her nakedness and her shame is the people that she's had over here as captives. See, it ain't shame yet because the people, it has not been revealed unto the earth who we are. But it's the absolute worst kept secret ever. The rulers all know who we are. But they have hidden that from the multitude of the people. When the multitude of the people find out, wait a minute, you mean these are the people that they talking about in the book? Oh, and look at what you did to them. That is their shame. Go ahead.
I'll take vengeance, and I will not meet you as a man. As for our Redeemer, Yahweh of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit you silent and get you into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for you shall no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms.
Right. There's a reason why they were given the Statue of the Statue of Liberty, this lady that's supposed to represent them. Go ahead.
I was angry with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into your hand. You did show them no mercy. Upon the ancient have you very heavily laid your yoke.
Mm-hmm.
And you said, I shall be a lady forever, so that you did not lay these things to your heart, neither did remember the latter end of it.
Right. Because winning puffs you up. The more you're able to keep winning, you get more and more puffed up. So nothing could be said to convince her that she was in the wrong place. Go ahead.
Therefore hear now this, you that are given to pleasures, that dwelleth carelessly, that says in your heart, I am, and none else beside me.
Right. And what other country you done heard that said God bless America and no place else? Go ahead.
I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children.
And up to this point, they hadn't had to. In every last one of the conflicts, it's always them in somebody else's land tearing it up. That's why Russia made that statement. No longer will America be able to enjoy, to fight from across the waters. Oh no, he made a point. Oh no. Y'all hadn't had to live in a place that looked like Beirut, where it just looked like all the windows are blown out of buildings and all of that. We ain't never had to see that. We see war on CNN and on the internet. And that allows us to keep on going about our business. Oh my goodness, they blew that up. Okay, what time my show come on, child? That's how quick the war is over with us. Because we ain't had to deal with it. Let them hit Spaghetti Junction and them bridges go out. And everybody's traffic is messed up. Now all of a sudden, then it starts affecting us. More people come through Hartsfield than any other airport in the United States. You got Hartsfield and LaGuardia. If they mess them two up, travel in the entire United States is done. We don't consider none of that because we ain't never had to deal with it. Let it happen. We boast about how much money we got in the bank. And the more money you get in the bank, the better you feel when you look at your statement. Woo! But see, we remember when we were broke. You see? Now when you just broke, that's just one broke. You know, you start to feel better the less broke you are. But when you can't get to that money, you back to being broke. You can see it on that piece of paper. But what happened when the day comes that all we got is that piece of paper and you can't get to none of it? See, that's happening to people in other lands. It hadn't happened to us. We hadn't had to deal with it. But these people are openly saying, this is why you got places like North Korea. We're going to go ahead and test this missile. Now, we're not testing it. We're testing you. We want to let you know. We can hit you. I want to let you see how far this thing goes. Let me show you something. I ain't gonna shoot it at you. I'm gonna shoot it beside you just so you know. You see that? Now let's just aim it this way. That mean I would have hit DC. You understand what I'm saying to you? That's what that was all about. No, they know what they're doing. And all of them going one by one. And they spreading out. She in all these different places. So yeah, get involved into the conflict over here. Then China gonna start their conflict over there. Let me see you come over here too. Oh, and by the way, then these people gonna start a conflict over here. North Korea gonna go ahead. Let me see you come to all these places at the same time. Oh, and by the way, guard your house too. While you doing all that. Because see, while you doing all of that, I guarantee you it's a hole that you done left at your house. Because you so arrogant, you don't think nobody gonna shoot you. So you off splitting your protection in all these other places. See, when you send people to all these other places, that's how many people ain't watching your house. That's how you gonna miss the missile that come to your house, because you in everybody else's house trying to dictate who shoot missiles at it. Go ahead.
Verse 9. But these two things shall come to you in a moment and one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon you in their perfection for the multitude of your sorceries, and for the great abundance of your enchantments. For you have trusted in your wickedness. You have said, none sees me. Your wisdom and your knowledge, it has perverted you. And you have said in your heart, I am, and none else beside me. Therefore shall evil come upon you. You shall not know from whence it rises. And mischief shall fall upon you. You shall not be able to put it off. And desolation shall come upon you suddenly, which you shall not know. Stand now with your enchantments, and with the multitude of your sorceries, wherein you have labored from your youth. If so be, you shall be able to profit. If so be, you may prevail.
Right. So you have the haughtiness, or the act of being puffed up individually. Then you have whole nations that have a serious boasting problem, where they have been puffed up against Elohim. He's going to deal with us on an individual level and on national levels. Go ahead.
You are wearied in the multitude of your counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save you from these things that shall come upon you. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto you with whom you have labored, even your merchants from your youth. They shall wander, every one to his quarter, none shall save you.
Everyone shall wander, they shall wander everyone to his quarter. What is that? Same thing we read in Jeremiah 50 and 51. They are all going back to their lands. Nobody here is from here, which is one of the strangest things when you hear some redneck hollering out, go back home. Everybody here immigrants. What are you talking about? But see, the pride and the boastfulness, they count this land as theirs, even though they know it was somebody here when they got here. They know that, but have no problem. Go back to Africa. Go back here. Go back. Yeah, and when I go back, you need to go back too. You came from Europe. You ain't from here. So when Yahweh does destroy it, he can easily say, I didn't destroy anybody's land. Wasn't nobody staying there in antiquity. So all y'all gonna have to go back the way you came from. This is how everyone shall wander to his quarter. When they get ready to be destroyed, all the Europeans know where they're going. You talk to a European, they don't just tell you that they from Europe, they'll tell you. No, I'm Irish. No, I'm this, I'm that. No, they know what part of Europe they're going back to. So they just gave us a whole continent.
See, you African, so you can narrow that down to, like 53 places.
What? You know, and it's vast differences between the climate in one part. You know, that's the one thing. Africa long this way, not long this way. So the climate is vastly different in certain parts of Africa. And you know, we ain't ready for that. Did you finish that, brother?
Yes.
Let's go to Exodus chapter 9. Exodus chapter 9, and we're going to start at verse 13.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, Rise up early in the morning, and stand before Pharaoh, and say unto him, Thus says Yahweh Elohim of the Hebrews, Let my people go, that they may serve me. For I will at this time send all my plagues upon your heart, and upon your servants, and upon your people, that you may know that there is none like me in all the earth.
Right. Now, Pharaoh was one that called himself like a man god. Okay? So when Yahweh comes to deal with them, why is he dealing with the Egyptians? The Egyptians didn't have any say-so over how Israel was treated. Pharaoh was an absolute ruler. But they benefited from the hard service that Israel was made to perform. Same in this day and time. People will tell you in a minute, well, you know, I didn't have anything to do with slavery at all. Yeah, but you got the inheritance from your grandfather who was a slave owner. That's why you in a Porsche and I'm in a Volkswagen. I go to work every day. You ain't even go to work and you still driving a Porsche. And they tell you, well, you know, I ain't got nothing to do with slavery. Yes, you did. You got inheritance. You got money left. And if you can't survive on free labor, you have to be the worst business person ever. You got to be the worst. You had free labor and a couple 100-year head start. Please don't look at me and call my people lazy. We didn't have free labor. Go ahead.
For now I'll stretch out my hand, that I may smite you and your people with pestilence, and you shall be cut off from the earth. And in very deed for this cause have I raised you up, for to show in you my power, and that my name may be declared throughout all the earth.
Right. So now you have a situation where Yahweh may discipline his own, but then there's that situation where he then allows one to get higher and higher, just so he can make an example out of it. Go ahead.
As yet exalt you yourself against my people, that you will not let them go. Behold, tomorrow about this time I will cause it to rain a very grievous hail, such as has not been in Egypt since the foundation thereof, even until now. Send therefore now, and gather your cattle, and all that you have in the field, for upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field, and shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them, and they shall die.
Now look at this. You have to ask yourself, why did he even give them an opportunity? See, this is one of them. Let's see if you so boastful and proud that you gonna leave your animals out there as a show of your indignation against me, right? Let's see how this goes. Why did he even give them opportunity? They got an opportunity to bring their animals inside. It says, verse 19, send therefore now and gather your cattle and all that you have in the field. For upon every man and beast which shall be found in the field and shall not be brought home. You know, that's a hell of a conversation you got to have right there. Your woman come home, why's that damn cow in the living room?
Look, I heard the God of the Hebrews is about to rain down hail. So I was like, I decided I was gonna bring the cow in the house.
Boy, you talking about that's gonna be a hard conversation.
Now all my drapes gonna be smelling like cow dung.
You won't die what? You gotta understand the sidebar conversations that's got to be had before this takes place. See? There's always that period where it's a gray area whether or not you should follow Yahweh. When you're reading the whole story and it's just line upon line, which is how we're supposed to read it, line upon line, precept upon precept. But you got to think about something. Think about the space that's in between verse 7 and verse 8. That's a question. There's a question in between when this is said, bring your animals home. There's a pause in between him actually implementing that. That's the gray area where Yahweh judged the hearts of men. But when you just read it, and especially if you're reading to be one of them speed reader, people that you can say, I read the whole Bible. As in verse 19. Every man the beast shall be found in the field, shall not be brought home, the hail shall come down upon them. 20. You didn't understand a damn thing. And you're not getting that there is a questionable pause in between this. And when you don't get that, you don't understand the questionable pause that happens in your life. Because you're thinking that this took place, verse 15, verse 16, verse 17, verse 18. You thinking that this is just methodically happening. Contraire. There's a pause in between this. That's where everybody get persuaded. In that pause, you got this neighbor talking to you. You got this brother talking to you. You got this sister talking to you. You got everybody talking to you. Do not disrespect the pause that's in between these verses. Least the pause happen in your life and you get persuaded to do the wrong thing. Go ahead.
He that feared the word of Yahweh among the servants of Pharaoh made his servants and his cattle flee into the houses. And he that regarded not the word of Yahweh left his servants and his cattle in the field. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, stretch forth your hand toward heaven, that there may be hail in all the land of Egypt, upon man and upon beast and upon every herb of the field throughout the land of Egypt. And Moshe stretched forth his rod toward heaven, and Yahweh sent thunder and hail, and the fire ran along upon the ground, and Yahweh rained hail upon the land of Egypt.
To this day, it thundered loud enough, grown men go inside and hug themselves. The right amount of, you can claim to be just the manliest man that man has made. The right amount of thunder and lightning make you go inside, unplug everything. You don't just turn it off. Unplug it, baby. Unplug it. Oh, this serious business. Go ahead.
So there was hail and fire mingled with the hail, very grievous, such as there was none like it in all the land of Egypt since it became a nation. And the hail smote through all the land of Egypt, all that was in the field, both man and beast. And the hail smote every herb of the field, and brake every tree of the field.
You gotta understand, this they food. They ain't got no Walmart. Understand what this hail is tearing up. See, when we say it's hailing outside, y'all know what we run through. Oh, my car!
Oh, didn't hit my baby. Oh, my God.
We call the insurance company. It ain't even stopped raining yet.
Hey, I just want to be on hold.
Sir, is it storming there now?
Yeah, I just want to be first in line.
These people worry about their food. The hail is destroying their food. We ain't thinking about no food. We think about our car. Go ahead.
Only in the land of Goshen, where the children of Israel were, was there no hail.
Right. And the first thing we want to do when we get two pennies to cling together is we move the hell up out of Goshen. We don't want to stay where the rest of us at.
No, we want to move up like George and Weezy.
That's where we want to go. We want a big old apartment in the sky. But guess where the hail ain't coming down at? Go ahead.
And Pharaoh sent and called for Moshe and Aaron, and said unto them, I have sinned this time. Yahweh is righteous, and I and my people are wicked. Entreat Yahweh, for it is enough, that there be no more mighty thunderings and hail, and I'll let you go, and you shall stay no longer. And Moshe said unto him, As soon as I am gone out of the city, I'll spread abroad my hands unto Yahweh, and the thunder shall cease. Neither shall there be any more hail, that you may know how that the earth is Yahweh's. But as for you and your servants, I know that you will not yet fear Yahweh Elohim. And the flax and the barley was smitten, for the barley was in the ear, and the flax was boiled. But the wheat and the rye were not smitten, for they were not grown up. And Moshe went out of the city from Pharaoh, and spread abroad his hands unto Yahweh. And the thunders and hail ceased, and the rain was not poured upon the earth. And when Pharaoh saw that the rain and the hail and the thunders were ceased, he sinned yet more,
Right.
and hardened his heart, he and his servants.
Right. See, you have to think about all those things that we say, that we get on our knees and say when we in trouble. Oh, Yahweh, I'm going to do this. Oh, Yahweh, please protect me. Oh, please remove this from me. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Oh, please. Then he remove it, and we forget everything that we done let come out of our mouth. Go ahead.
And the heart of Pharaoh was hardened, neither would he let the children of Israel go, as Yahweh had spoken by Moshe.
All right, let's go to 2 Peter chapter 2. See, some of those situations come upon us to show what we are going to do. Because in our minds, we're all going to do this without wavering. You know, you can read, your book and say all these things, but then when one of your loved ones get in the hospital about to take their last breath, oh, now some of them ideals get put to the test. Now you got to make some decisions, and some of them decisions might not go the way you think it's going to go when you sitting in the privacy of your living room reading the Bible, in your air condition with your flip-flops on. It was real comfortable. Totally different when somebody's life on the line. 2 Peter chapter 2, and let's start that at verse 1.
But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Adonai that bought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
They bring upon themselves destruction, but their false teaching is also bringing destruction upon the people who decide to listen to it. Go ahead.
And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth shall be evil spoken of.
As it is today. Go ahead.
And through covetousness shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time lingers not, and their damnation slumbers not. For if Elohim spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell, and delivered them into chains of darkness, to be reserved unto judgment, and spared not the old world, but saved Noah, the eighth person, a preacher of righteousness, bringing in the flood upon the world of the ungodly, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into ashes, condemned them with an overthrow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live ungodly, and delivered just Lot, vexed with the filthy conversation of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them, in seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. The Adonai knows how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished.
Listen to that. The Adonai knows how to deliver the godly out of temptations, and to reserve the unjust unto the day of the judgment to be punished. So what's happening? He punishes the just. But then, the folks that are inherently wicked, they keep doing wrong, and nothing happens to them. He's letting them go to be destroyed. So when we get disciplined, when we do wrong, we don't understand. That means you're still a son or a daughter. But that'll be what we arguing about.
Man, I could barely even do the wrong, man. As soon as I got in there, man, they shut the whole place down, man. I done lost all my money, man. I done bought this special outfit to do wrong in. They call it my wrong fits, you know.
We don't understand. That was your blessing. He shut the whole place down when you walked in the door. Not them. They're not going to do it. I'm not letting them do that. That was your blessing. But we'll get mad. Because we trying to figure out how them people down the street, they able to keep doing it and don't nothing happen to them. Those not his kids. That's why they can keep doing evil. And nothing happens to them. Like, I'm not disciplining them. They going to the lake of fire with their daddy. The very thing that we think is unfair is his display of love. But it all matters how you think you see love. You don't see him fussing at you as love. You don't see him denying you the opportunity to do something as love. You will when judgment comes, though. When you look at your list of charges, and then you look at your friend's list of charges, good God Almighty, why you got so many? Because didn't nobody stop him. He stopped you. You didn't stop you. He stopped you. You was on your way to do the same thing that he did. But he kept making something come in your way that it wouldn't go down. You're on your way to fornicating, your tie blow out. Bah! You know what it is. Dang. You know what it is. It wasn't just something that just happened to you. No. You was on your way to do wrong, and that tie blew out. Yahweh told that angel, don't let him go down. Now you trying to figure out, I just bought that tie. Did they sell me a bad one? I wonder what happened. Right. Yeah, keep thinking that. Go ahead, bro.
You know, the other night you were talking about the tights, right? And I don't know if you saw the article with Keisha Lance Bottoms. She went to a restaurant and they turned her away because she had leggings on.
Right.
But you know all she worried about is I wondered if they turned the other woman away. Man, you stand in a different position. You are more of a public figure. There's a way that you should be carrying yourself. But you worrying about somebody else. You got the right to be turned around.
That's how we do, ain't it? We don't want to know about, if it was right or wrong. We just want to know if they did it to somebody else. Mm-hmm. Just show you how creatures of habit we are. When this whole pandemic thing got started, they closed all the inside of the restaurant. So, now everybody still go through the drive-thru. Nobody knows that the restaurants are still open, right? So, everybody sitting in the line, don't nobody really want to get out of the line, right? So, everybody just looking. So then somebody pull off and they walk in the store. Everybody like, what the hell is he doing? And, I had to check myself. You know what? Let's get out of this damn line and go in here. We got to use the bathroom. We going in there. The folks say, yeah, this place been open. Right. Everybody just follow the line without jumping out or asking questions. We see a line, we'll just come and stand in it. We don't know what the hell they standing in line for. We might be in a line 2 hours. Hey, did anybody know what this is? Bro, you been standing here for 2 hours, you don't even know what the hell this line is? You just came and stood in a line? See, that's us. But we do the same, we do the opposite as well. Let two of us take out running. The whole damn congregation will be running up their hill. We're going to get past Ingles before somebody says, y'all know what we're running for? Go ahead, bro.
Verse 10. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government. Presumptuous are they, self-willed. They're not afraid to speak evil of dignities.
Right, and you got to understand something. Yahweh is not going to come to you personally. Yahshua is not coming to you personally. They have servants who are going to do that job. no matter how angry I was with my elder, and let me tell you something, my elder didn't care nothing about your feelings. He had a feeling bag. Here, give it to you. Put your feelings in that right there. Why? Because I'm about to tear your ass up. What? I know I'm about to get it. Go on, put them feelings in the bag. Because you about to get it, Jack. I've been undone something. But if your feelings stop you, you're going to have some real problems when Yahshua get here. Because Yahshua don't give a damn about your feelings either. Yahshua didn't care about who he hurt when he turned over them tables. He said, my Father's house is not a house of merchandise. I don't really care how you feel about that. Moshe didn't care that Yahweh had made them tables of stone when he came down and threw them on the ground. Saw what Israel was doing, slammed them on the ground and broke them. You got a lot of feelings, issues. You're going to have some problems the closer we get to the redemption of the children of Israel. You'll find that it did me justice to have an old man who was willing to cut me when I was wrong. That was justice. Because all the people who, go to them places where they just whisper sweet nothings in their ear, they're going to have some real problems come judgment. Because they're going to approach unto the throne feeling justified. Because they ain't been corrected. They're going to feel good until the stuff that's in that book is read. Go ahead.
In the words of Elder, take your feelings and sit on it.
Yep. You got it, bro. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Whereas angels, which are greater in power and might, bring not railing accusations against them before the Adonai.
Right. These people, these angels, they have received charges. So then we go against the things because we think we're going to bypass the order and go straight to Yahweh. No, that ain't how that works. That's not how that works. This is why he says, him that receives whom I sent receives me. And he who receives me receives my Father who sent me. Yahweh ain't coming off the throne to deal with us personally. You ain't got no personal Lord and Savior. I don't care what you heard. He just yours. Go ahead.
But these, as natural brute beasts, made to be taken and destroyed, speak evil of things that they understand not, and shall utterly perish in their own corruption, and shall receive the reward of unrighteousness, as they that count it pleasure to riot in the daytime. Spots they are and blemishes, sporting themselves with their own deceivings while they feast with you. Having eyes full of adultery, and that cannot cease from sin, beguiling unstable souls.
Beguiling unstable souls. See, you'll find that those who are trying to beguile certain individuals, you notice they don't run up to the big lion and give that. The folks who trying to, sell their beachfront property in Idaho, you notice they never come up to the big lion? No, they got somebody off into the corner that they selling that to. When somebody got an idea about a scripture, they need to do this, you notice they don't come up to the front of the room and present that. They got the newest member in the congregation. I mean, so new the tag is still on them. They ain't even took the tag off yet. That's who you going to talk to about scripture? They've been here about 16 minutes. That's who you going to talk to? Now I have to ask myself, why the hell are you talking to the person who ain't been here but 16 minutes? Right. Go ahead.
And heart they have exercised with covetous practices, cursed children.
Right. The children end up cursed because the children are watching their deeds, and those deeds are going to magnify in the kids' generation. So if the kids see you stealing, the kids see you, like my brother was talking about the other night, the kids see you doing nothing, they're going to do double nothing. What you doing? Nothing plus nothing. You talking about, watch my folk do nothing all my life, but I'm going to do nothing better than them. Right. They're going to do less than nothing. It's going to be worse in their generation. Kids see you slightly drinking, oh, they're going to drink more than that. If they see you passing out and falling down, they're going to be on some crack, it's going to be some new crack, some crank. They're going to be on some stuff. Like, where do you even get this from? They learned that by watching us. But it's going to multiply in their generation. Go ahead.
Which have forsaken the right way and are gone astray, following the way of Balaam the son of Besor, who loved the wages of unrighteousness, but was rebuked for his lawlessness. The dumb ass, speaking with man's voice, forbade the madness of the prophet. These are wells without water, clouds that are carried with a tempest, to whom the mist of darkness is reserved forever. For when they speak great swelling words of vanity, they allure through the lust of the flesh, through much wantonness. Those that were clean escape from them who live in error. While they promise them liberty, they themselves are the servants of corruption. For of whom a man is overcome, of the same is he brought in bondage. For if after they have escaped the pollutions of the world through the knowledge of the Adonai and Savior Yahshua HaMashiach, they are again entangled therein and overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning.
It was better that they had not known. Go ahead.
For it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than, after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them.
Right. But they so puffed up, you can't tell them that. They don't know that they're returning back to their old ways. Everybody see it except them. They are too proud to see it. Go ahead.
But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb, the dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow that was washed to her wallowing in the mire.
All right, let's go to Matthew chapter 25. Matthew 25, and let's start at verse 31.
Verse 31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divides his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left.
Right. The first thing we always about to do, we always trying to gather everything together. Yahweh divides everything. We always trying, we ought to get together with this person. We ought to get together with this group. We ought to get, y'all like, no. I'm going to divide like things and put them together. Let's put the obedient with the obedient, and let's put the disobedient with the disobedient. We try to put the obedient and the disobedient in the same group. Go ahead.
Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, you blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was an hungered, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Adonai, when saw we you an hungered, and fed you, or thirsty, and gave you drink? When saw we you a stranger, and took you in, or naked, and clothed you? Or when saw we you sick, or in prison, and came unto you? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily, I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, you have done it unto me.
Okay. Do we consider that the things that we either do or don't do amongst one another, that Yahshua is going to attribute that as we have done it unto him? It's real easy for us to say, if Yahshua was here, I would have never betrayed him. But consider, have you betrayed someone that Yahweh is then going to lay that upon your judgment and say, you betrayed him? Yeah, none of us will betray him when we know who he is and what power he has. Yeah. But let's get a little deeper than that. Even when he appeared, he disguised himself. They was talking to him and didn't know that it was him they were talking to. They felt something in their spirit. But they was like, you know, and you know, one of those instances, they talking afterward. Hey man, didn't you feel something when you was talking to, you know, that last day? Didn't you feel something? Yeah, I did. Then one come up and said, look, I'm supposed, you must be the gardener. Look, tell me where they laid my Adonai. Look, gardener, Pedro, look, tell me what? You think that's the gardener? Right. He will appear however he needs to appear to deal with the heart of men. Who's to say all of us have not at some point had a face-to-face encounter with Yahshua? Maybe he was the guy who you said was a bum asking for money. How did you treat him? How did you talk to him? Now, what if that is read in your book when the books are open? And he said, you know, I was hungry and you know, you didn't feed me. What are you talking about? No, I ain't never seen you. I promise I ain't never seen you. I would have remembered you. Yes, I would have, God. Yes, I would. Wait a minute. You remember a quick trip at Pump 7? What? That was you? You don't think he gonna appear? I know we like the West, you know, stuff. You know, I got my little vest, got the 12 tribes on. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all don't think he gonna show up with like a Yahshua jersey on. You know what I'm saying? You got to know that, right? You got to know that he's not gonna appear. Even while he was here, he kept saying, even to the spirits, hold your peace. Don't tell these people who I am. See, the spirits knew exactly who he was. And when I say he, not the physical man, at baptism, there was a spirit that descended in the bodily shape of a dove and rested on that body. That's who the spirit knew. Them other spirits knew him well. So he's Why you think they said, have you come to torment us before the time? Because, you know, we know the writing, and it ain't time for you to do that. Oh, they know a whole lot of stuff. That's why he had to constantly tell them, hold your peace and come out of her. Come out of her, but shut your mouth. They don't need to know who I am. They not going to be able to handle that. Don't tell them who I am. Just come out. So who's to say you have not had an encounter with the creator of all things? And what if it was one of your bad days? You didn't feel like talking to nobody that day? Honey boo boo done got on your nerve. You shot with everybody. And here come Yahshua at Pump 7. Hey brother, you got some change? Right. Go ahead, brother.
You know, from verse 35 to verse 39, the things that is encompassed in there requires us to come out of our comfort zone and give of ourselves.
And that's what we don't like to do, especially being raised in the daughter of Babylon. Everything is about our comfort. This whole place, everything is about comfort. We got smart homes that you can get on your phone and press certain things. It'll turn your lights on in the back, turn your sprinkler on. You can do all that. And we just do it from a button. Because apparently we don't want to go flip the switch, turn on the coffee maker, and turn the water on. We can do it from right here. That's our comfort. We can do that without even getting out of bed. I can turn this air off from my phone. You know what? I know they cold over there. Let me turn that down. I ain't got to get up and go to that. But what happens when you get accustomed to dealing in your own comfort? When your brother or your sister is in need, do you then think about your comfort over the need. But I mean, it's a little leaven in there then. Go ahead.
And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, you have done it unto me.
You have done it unto me. If you have done it unto the least of them, you have done it unto me. We need to then consider that. The things that we have done to one another. Would you do some of the sneaky things that we've done to each other? Would you do that to Yahshua? Maybe you already have. You just don't know it yet. Some of the lies that we tell, would you look Yahshua in his eye and tell that lie? Maybe you already have. You just didn't recognize it as Yahshua when you told a lie. Go ahead.
Then shall he say also unto them on the left hand, Depart from me, you cursed, into everlasting fire, prepared for the devil and his angels.
Right. He's going to remove the leaven. And he don't care how you feel about it. He don't care what your relationship is with the leaven. He don't care how cool you are with the leaven. He don't care if you've been married 1,000 years with the leaven. The leaven got to go. Now, if you latched on to it, you going with it. But the leaven got to go. He's separating it. Go ahead.
For I was an hungry, and you gave me no meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me no drink. I was a stranger, and you took me not in. Naked, and you clothed me not. Sick and in prison, and you visited me not. Then shall they also answer him, saying, Adonai, when saw we you a hunger or a thirst?
He's letting you know, you ain't going to recognize this. So if you think that you're going to be able to see when Yahshua is in front of you, you got another thing coming. This is how he judged the hearts of men. Either you do it all the way across the board or you're not doing it. Because he going to disguise himself when he come to you. As it is written, I shall come to you and I will not meet you as a man. You're not going to see me. You're not going to see me. Whatever that thing is that you dislike the most, that's how I'm coming. Right. And that's something for all of us. Ain't none of us immune to that. We all got something that we don't want to deal with. Every last one of us. Now, what if he come like that? The earth and the fullness therein belongs to Yahweh. What is unusable unto him? Now, you just heard the brother talk about, the sister that had on the tights in the restaurant. And what was funny, because her last name Bottoms, you know what I'm saying? And they didn't want to see her bottom. So they didn't let her, come into the restaurant. But, hey, who's to say that Yahweh wouldn't put a message in somebody with long drawers on? And you say, I detest them long drawers. And Yahweh give them the message to get to you. Do you not hear it because you didn't like that way? We had a situation happen here. There was a sister who obviously didn't want to be a sister, showed up in the front. There was an altercation where a guy's beating up on the woman or whatever. We go out there to intervene. The man woman pulls up and she engages with us. A couple brothers didn't want to, I'm not talking to her. I had a conversation with a couple more brothers. We had a conversation with her, blah, 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 blah. She drove down the street, saw the girl, because obviously, when we came out, the guy done beat up the girl and left her walking. The girl who everybody looking at funny, she gets down now and she pulls over and talks to the girl. She said, you should go over there and talk to them. They real cool. So the girl who had done got jumped on turned back around And we was able to counsel that girl that day about her situation. But who told her to come back here? The girl that most of us wouldn't have talked to. Because we would have considered her lifestyle. Things don't always go how you think they're going to go. Go ahead, bro.
Or a stranger, or naked, or sick, or in prison, and did not minister unto you? Then shall he answer them, saying, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as you did it not to one of the least of these, you did it not to me.
You did it not to me. Go ahead.
And these shall go away into everlasting punishment, but the righteous into life eternal.
Now check that out. These shall go in the way into everlasting punishment. Why? They didn't have the right kind of love. See, Yahweh is going to do things. We all going to show love to the people that we like. As it is written, the wicked know how to give good gifts to their kids. And, no. I want to see if you know how to give good gifts to people whom you know not. You don't know who they are. You don't know what they are. How do you think he's dealing with this entire nation and the people on the earth? They're all being nice to the Israelis because they think that those are the children of Israel. They have whole foundations. The Christian Foundation for Jews. They sending them all kind of money. These folk own banks. We take money out of their banks and send them money. You can't get no dumber than that. They looking at your account. Yeah, I see where you took the money out and gave it to me. You don't know I own this, you know. But because they think they doing that to God's chosen people, they getting all kind of money given to these people. What do you think gonna happen? Yahweh is actually dealing with them by hiding who we are. That way they justify their mistreatment of us because they don't know who we are. He's already using that to judge them. He's hiding us. So when he reveals who we are, a whole lot of people's heart gonna fall. Because now they've spent all their money giving money to some people who already pretty much own everything on the earth. But because they did not recognize who we were, they didn't know to be good to us. That's how Yahweh judged the hearts of men. So stop thinking that you're going to know who to be good to. You got to know that. And that's going to take some work on our part because there's some leaven in all of us. All the leaven ain't going to come out every time. Every time you're going to find a little bit of leaven. Every year you're going to find a little bit more leaven. But you got to keep looking. Keep looking. We ain't going to be without leaven until Yahshua take care of us. Understand that. But you got to keep going through, trying to find more and more leaven. Because the last thing you want is for him to show up and it look like you ain't clean nothing. I mean, yeah, we still going to be filthy rags when he show up. But he going to look at, the before and after. That's what we do when they say, this one was clean and tied and this one in the leading brand. When he presents you and the leading brand, you damn well better be better than the leading brand. I'm telling you now. No, you're not going to be completely clean, but you damn well better be better than the cleaning of the leading brand. That means there's been progress made in you. Not that you're there, but you're making steps to get there. That's all that we're going to do for today. I got too much to keep going. So we're going to start this back the next time we get together, y'all's will. Understand that we are making our appearance tonight. We will be celebrating the Feast of First Fruits. You should already have known to sanctify yourself against the third day, which this does this anyway because it's holy day behind holy day behind holy day. So this one is a no-brainer. See, Yahweh takes care of your first one or two. That last one, not that way. You got to know to do it, or else you're going to find yourself in some trouble. That's all that we're going to do for today. Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.